In the quiet hours of the night, when sleep drifts just out of reach, your mind begins to wander. Out here in the silence, questions glow brighter than dreams. What is time? Where do black holes lead? How does the universe whisper its secrets? This is Void Realities, a place where science becomes a lullaby and the mysteries of existence unfold slowly, like stars across a midnight sky. Breathe, listen, and let your thoughts drift. The journey begins now. The physics of aging in motion. The clock that breathes with you, you notice how each heartbeat carries a rhythm, a private clock inside your chest. Time feels both steady and slippery, shaping every breath you take. The body itself becomes a living metronome, whispering seconds into your awareness. This chapter gently opens the door to the question, what is time and how does it move? You place a hand against your chest and listen. The soft rhythm beneath your palm is steady, reassuring, yet not mechanical. It is alive. Each heartbeat carries with it a whisper of time. You feel it not as numbers on a clock, but as a personal pulse, a quiet reminder that time lives inside you as much as it flows outside in the sky. When you breathe deeply, the beats seem to stretch, and when you rush, they seem to quicken, like a tempo that shifts with your mood. Already time reveals itself as flexible, woven into your body's movements. Close your eyes for a moment, imagine yourself lying still, listening only to your breath and your heart. The seconds begin to blur. They no longer feel like ticks of a machine, but like waves, gentle ripples rolling in and out. This is your first glimpse of time, not as a ruler that measures, but as a companion that breathes alongside you. Each inhale becomes an arrival, each exhale becomes a letting go. You are not separate from time, you are inside it, and it is inside you. Think of how you have felt time throughout your life. A childhood summer day seemed to last forever. A single night of grief stretched unbearably long. Yet an hour of laughter with a friend flew past before you noticed. The clock on the wall insists each hour is the same, yet your body insists otherwise. Your body has its own timekeepers, the circadian rhythm that wakes you with sunlight, the cycles of hunger and sleep, the hormones that rise and fall with the turning of the day. Without ever glancing at a clock, your body knows. Your cells in their quiet machinery hold within them a rhythm ancient and trustworthy. Scientists have long searched for a definition of time. They have built atomic clocks, the most precise instruments ever created, measuring the oscillation of cesium atoms to fractions of a second. These clocks rarely falter. Yet, even with this perfect regularity, time remains mysterious, because while the clock gives you numbers, your life gives you feelings, and the two often do not agree. This is the paradox you live with every day. Time is both objective and deeply personal. Consider your breath once more. Each cycle of inhale and exhale takes a few seconds. You rarely notice it. Yet it is the foundation of your sense of rhythm. Cultures throughout history have tied time to breath. Meditation traditions speak of measuring life by breaths, not by years. Breath is steady, but it also changes. When you are calm, it is slow and deep. When you are anxious, it becomes shallow and rapid. Time seems to change with it. Moments of calm expand, moments of stress compress. You are not imagining this. Your nervous system truly alters your perception of seconds. Your heartbeat does the same. At rest, it may beat 60 to 70 times each minute. When frightened or excited, it leaps faster. And in those moments, time feels jagged. A minute of fear may feel stretched into an eternity. Neuroscientists explain that under stress, the brain records more detail, creating the sensation of more time having passed. You could say your body is bending time subjectively, even while the outside world's clocks remain unchanged. This inner flexibility hints at a larger truth. Time is not absolute. Einstein showed us this through the theory of relativity. But you already knew it in your own way. You knew it from waiting for a delayed bus, from holding someone you love, from lying awake at night with racing thoughts. Time is elastic in your experience, and that elasticity mirrors the physics of the cosmos. The personal and the universal meet here, in the gentle ticking of your chest. Imagine now a world with no clocks, no schedules, no devices. Imagine living by sunrise and sunset, by the cycles of hunger and rest. Many ancient peoples lived in this way. Their time was guided by nature's rhythms, the moon's phases, the changing tides, the migration of animals. Time was circular, not linear. It returned again and again in seasons. In some cultures, the year was seen as a great breathing, an inhale of growth in spring, an exhale of rest in winter. To them, time was not an arrow pointing forward, but a cycle that carried them round in endless return. Your body still carries this memory. Your circadian rhythm is tuned to light and darkness. Inside your brain lies the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of neurons that responds to sunlight and shadows. It is your inner sunrise telling your cells when to wake and when to repair. This clock is so precise that even isolated from daylight, it continues its cycle. It drifts, but only slightly, like a watch running almost perfectly on its own. It reminds you that you are a creature of cycles, not only of hours and minutes. Think of your cells, dividing, repairing, aging. They carry within them telomeres, tiny protective caps on DNA that shorten with each division. These too are a clock, not ticking in seconds, but in generations of cells. They measure not moments, but the span of life itself. In this way, time breathes not only in your chest, but also in the very code of your being. You are a collection of clocks nested within clocks, heartbeat, breath, circadian rhythm, cellular division, memory. Together they weave the music of your existence, and yet when you sit quietly, you feel only the gentle flow of now. You do not sense telomeres, nor the oscillation of atoms, nor the equations of relativity. You sense this moment and then the next, like pearls on a thread. This is the paradox of being human. You live in the smallest unit of time while being carried through the grandest scales, from seconds to centuries, from the blink of an eye to the slow drift of stars. Time feels slippery, yet you long to hold it. Photographs, diaries, rituals, all are attempts to catch time in your hands, but time resists being caught. It continues to move like breath, like heartbeat, like the turning earth beneath you. And perhaps this is not something to resist, but something to accept. To live is to flow with time, not to trap it. The clock inside you is not a prison, but a song. It is not rigid, but alive. Now, as you lie here, you can feel that song. The rhythm is yours, yet it belongs also to the universe. You are breathing with the stars, ticking with the cosmos, swaying with the unseen currents of space and gravity. You begin to see time not as a distant, abstract thing, but as a companion that holds your hand gently as you walk through life. Its presence is steady, yet its nature is mysterious. And so you rest with this thought that every heartbeat is a clock, every breath a measure, every cell a note in the great symphony of time. You do not need to rush it, you only need to listen. In this listening, you open the door to deeper mysteries. Because if your body bends time in feeling, could gravity bend time in reality? Could the universe itself hold clocks that shift with place and motion? The answer waits just beyond this chapter, in the gentle pull of Earth itself. Gravity's gentle hand on time. You drift into the pull of gravity, not as a force but as a soft curve in space. The Earth itself bends the flow of seconds, making clocks tick differently near its surface. Mountains and valleys hold invisible rivers of time, slow here, faster there. You begin to see time as a fabric woven with gravity's weight. You step outside under the night sky. The air feels cool, the stars steady. Yet beneath your feet, the Earth is tugging at you. Gravity is quiet but constant, a companion that you rarely notice. It keeps you grounded, holds oceans in their basins, and cradles the atmosphere so you can breathe. You do not think of it often, but gravity shapes every part of your life. And though hidden, it shapes your experience of time as well. For centuries, people thought of gravity as a pull, a force that acts invisibly across space. Newton described it beautifully. Every mass attracts every other mass. To him, the apple falls because Earth pulls on it, and the Earth orbits the Sun because of the Sun's immense pull. This picture worked so well it guided ships across oceans and planets across the sky. But even Newton wondered, how could one body pull on another across emptiness? The mystery lingered. Centuries later, Einstein gave us a new way to see it. He imagined space and time not as separate things, but as one fabric, space-time. Mass and energy, he said, do not simply pull. They bend the very fabric in which they sit. The sun does not tug the Earth. Instead, it curves the space around it, and Earth, moving within that curve, simply follows the bend. Imagine placing a heavy ball on a stretched sheet. The sheet dips and smaller balls roll toward the center, not because they are pulled, but because the surface they travel on is curved. Now add time to that sheet. This is the leap Einstein made. Mass bends not only space, but time itself. A planet, a star, even the Earth beneath you curves space-time. And within that curve, time does not flow evenly. Seconds near a massive object run more slowly than seconds farther away. This is gravitational time dilation. At first this sounds abstract, but imagine two clocks identical in every way. Place one on a mountaintop closer to the open sky and the other at sea level, deeper in Earth's gravity. After days of ticking, they will disagree. The one on the mountain will be ahead, having ticked faster. The one at sea level will lag slightly, slowed by gravity's embrace. Both clocks believe they have kept perfect time. Neither knows it has drifted. Yet side by side, their difference is undeniable. This is not theory alone. Physicists have measured it. Atomic clocks, so precise they lose only a second over millions of years, have been carried up towers, flown on airplanes, and placed in orbit. Each time the predictions hold. Clocks higher above Earth tick faster. Those closer to Earth's center tick slower. You live in a world where time is not uniform, but depends on where you stand. Think again of your own body. Imagine yourself lying on a beach at sea level. Your heart ticks, your breath flows, your inner clocks all beat to the rhythm of Earth's gravity. Now picture yourself climbing a mountain. Step by step, you rise into thinner air, closer to the stars. Without realizing it, your time quickens. Each heartbeat, each breath flows just a little faster compared to the you who stayed at sea level. You would never notice this difference, but it is there, a faint divergence written into the fabric of space-time. The difference is tiny, fractions of a second stretched over years, but it matters. Without accounting for this effect, GPS satellites would fail. These satellites circle Earth high above, where gravity is weaker. Their clocks tick faster than the ones on the ground. If engineers ignored relativity, your phone's map would drift miles off course each day. Every time you check directions, you are relying on Einstein's insight. Gravity bends not only space, but the very seconds that guide you home. Think of that. Your morning walk, your evening drive, your search for a cafe, all guided by time corrected for gravity's hand. The cosmic and the ordinary are bound together in your pocket. This is how close the mysteries of the universe live to you. Now close your eyes and imagine the Earth beneath you as more than rock and soil. Imagine it as a weight pressing into the fabric of space-time, creating a dip in the invisible sheet. You are sitting in that dip, and so are the oceans, the forests, the cities. Time flows along the contours of this dip, slower near the bottom, faster at the edges. You are not standing on Earth. You are standing in the curve of space-time itself. This vision invites another thought. What happens near something far more massive? A mountain slows time a little. Earth slows it more. But a star, a giant planet, or a black hole bends it drastically. Near such objects, time itself stretches thin, seconds lengthen, and moments slip away differently than you expect. Gravity is not just weight. It is a sculptor of time. And yet, in your daily life, you do not feel it. Seconds seem even, clocks seem steady. This is the gift of your limited perspective. Time dilation is real but subtle in the places you walk. It is only when you look upward, towards satellites, or outward, towards stars, that you see its grand design. Gravity is patient, weaving its influence quietly, never announcing itself with drama unless you go looking. There is something soothing in this thought. You are being carried by a planet that not only grounds your feet, but also carries your seconds gently within its curve. Time is not something you own or control, it is something you are held within. And in that holding you are safe, connected to the flow that links your body to the cosmos. Now let your mind wander again to that mountain. Imagine a clock at the summit, ticking slightly faster. Imagine another by the ocean, ticking slower. Between them, rivers of time are flowing invisibly. You are walking in a world where valleys and peaks are not only geography but tempo, where altitude and time are entangled. The Earth is a landscape of both space and seconds. You may wonder, if gravity slows time, are we aging differently at different places? The answer is yes, though the difference is unimaginably small. Someone living their life high in the mountains will, in the tiniest measure, age faster than someone living at sea level. Over an entire lifetime, the difference may be a fraction of a second, and yet the fact that it exists at all is profound. Even your lifespan is touched by gravity's hand on time. This idea whispers something gentle, that time is not rigid, not an absolute march, but something that bends with place, weight, and motion. Just as your heartbeat changes with mood, the universe's clock changes with gravity. The personal and the cosmic reflect each other, reminding you that time is not one thing, but many, woven together. As you breathe now, feel how gravity cradles you. You are part of Earth's curve, part of the slowing and flowing of seconds. You do not have to grasp it all. It is enough to rest in the knowledge that you are carried, that your time is shaped with care, that every moment is both universal and uniquely yours. And as you rest with this, you may begin to wonder, if Earth bends time gently, what happens near objects far denser, far stranger? What becomes of seconds near the edge of a black hole, where gravity grows fierce and light itself cannot escape? Einstein's daydream of light. You follow Einstein as he imagines riding a beam of light. The thought feels playful, yet it bends the rules of motion and time. Speed and stillness merge, and the world becomes a canvas of shifting clocks. What begins as a dream transforms into the deep science of relativity. Imagine being a child, staring out of a classroom window as the lesson fades into a blur. Outside, the sunlight glints across rooftops and streams through the air. The young Albert Einstein, restless and curious, once sat in such a place. And there his mind wandered. He imagined a question so simple, yet so daring. It would change forever how we see the universe. What would it be like to ride alongside a beam of light? Close your eyes and join him. Picture yourself not walking, not running, but moving at the speed of light itself. The world rushes past in a blur of colors and shapes. The beam stretches outward, yet you are caught on it, moving with it, feeling both infinite speed and strange stillness. Ahead, the wave of light does not move closer. It stands beside you, frozen, like a painting of ripples stopped in mid-motion. Already something feels unusual. If you are moving with light, then light itself seems to stand still. For Einstein, this daydream was not just fantasy. It was a riddle. Light, as known in his time, always moved at a certain speed, an astonishing 186,000 miles per second. According to Newton's rules, speed should add or subtract. If you run forward while throwing a ball, the ball's speed combines with yours, but light refused to obey. No matter how fast you chased it, it never slowed. No matter how you turned away, it never sped up. Its pace was fixed, absolute, untouchable. This constancy gnawed at Einstein. So he returned to his dream. If light is always the same speed, then the world around it must be the thing that bends. Space and time themselves must shift to keep the rule of light intact. Imagine a stage built for a play. But instead of being solid, the stage bends and reshapes depending on the actor's movements. Space and time became that stage, elastic, flexible, responsive. Think again of riding the beam. You look to your left and see a friend standing still. To your friend, your clock ticks slower. To you, their clock races faster. Both of you are correct because motion itself has stretched time differently for each. This is time dilation. Motion does not simply move you across space. It tilts the way time flows. The faster you go, the slower your seconds fall. Now imagine two travelers. One races near the speed of light, while the other remains on Earth. When they meet again, the traveler will be younger, their seconds stretched, their time bent. This is not fantasy. This is physics, written in the equations that poured from Einstein's insight. What began as a child's playful daydream revealed a universe where clocks are not universal, but relative, tied to speed and perspective. Think of how strange yet familiar this feels. Haven't you already sensed time behaving this way in your own life? Moments of joy feel fleeting, moments of waiting stretch endlessly. Though the physics of your emotions differs from relativity, the pattern echoes. Time is not rigid. It bends with experience, with motion, with gravity. You live in a world already aligned with Einstein's vision even before you measure it. Let's return to the light. Light is not only fast, it is fundamental. It carries the images of stars across space, letting you see the ancient universe. When you gaze at the night sky, the starlight touching your eyes left its source years, centuries, or millennia ago. In a sense, to see light is to look back in time. And this is part of Einstein's wonder. Light is both messenger and law, both the carrier of images and the ruler of motion. Einstein's thought experiments, these little journeys of imagination, were not idle. They were his way of replacing the rigid rules of Newton with something subtler and truer. He imagined trains moving near light speed, observers comparing clocks, beams of light stretching across space. Each scenario peeled back a layer of reality, showing how time and space are not separate but entwined, like two threads woven into one cloth. This cloth, space-time, flexes whenever light demands it. Consider again your heartbeat, your private clock. Imagine it racing on a ship near light speed. Each beat would seem slower to an observer watching from Earth. To them, your seconds would stretch into longer intervals. Yet to you on your ship, your heart would feel perfectly normal. You would not feel slowed. You would live your moments fully, only to return and find that Earth has aged more quickly than you. What was a day for you might have been years for them. This is the twin paradox, born from Einstein's dream. This paradox, though poetic, is no longer theoretical. Particles in accelerators, moving close to the speed of light, live longer than when at rest. Their internal clocks stretch, just as relativity predicts. Astronauts, too, experience tiny shifts in time compared to those on Earth, their motion altering the rhythm of their seconds. Technology and experiment confirm what began as a schoolboy's wonder. Pause here and feel the gentle truth that a single playful question can open an entire universe. Einstein did not begin with formulas. He began with imagination, with curiosity, with a willingness to follow a dream to its farthest edge. In this way, science mirrors the rhythm of your own life. Questions you carry in quiet moments may unfold into truths far larger than you expect. Curiosity itself is a clock, ticking you forward into discovery. Now let your breath slow. Imagine yourself once again on that beam of light. The world around you bends, space contracts, time dilates, yet light itself remains steady, unwavering. You cannot catch it, cannot outrun it, cannot slow it. It is the one anchor in a shifting universe, the fixed star around which relativity turns. You may wonder then, if light is so central, what of gravity? What happens when light passes near something massive, like a star or a planet? Does it too bend, caught in the curve of space-time? Einstein wondered this as well, and his answer would soon open doors to the deepest mysteries of the cosmos, the twin who waits. You listen to the story of two twins, one who travels, one who stays. Their lives become a mirror that no longer reflects the same age. Motion stretches one life into a slower rhythm, while the other marches on. Through their tale, you sense time's loyalty is never equal. Imagine two children born together, their lives beginning at the same instant. They laugh in the same rooms, grow at the same pace, share the same meals. Each birthday is a shared marker, each candle blown in unison. The bond between twins is a kind of mirror, two lives unfolding as one story told in parallel. But what if one day the mirror no longer matched? What if one twin stepped into a different river of time and returned younger than the other? This is the story physicists tell when they speak of the twin paradox. It is not a paradox in the sense of contradiction, but in the sense of wonder. Two people, once aligned, split apart in time. One waits, the other journeys. One remains rooted, the other bends into the deep flow of motion, and when they meet again, the difference cannot be undone. Close your eyes and picture them. One twin stays on Earth, grounded in familiar rhythms, sunrise, sunset, the changing of seasons. Their days pass with the steady metronome of clocks, the predictable pull of gravity. The other twin climbs into a ship, sleek and silent, and leaves Earth behind. The engines roar, then quiet. Soon the ship sails close to the speed of light, and time begins its secret work. From the traveler's perspective, life feels ordinary. Their heart beats steadily. Their meals follow familiar intervals. Their body ages with no awareness of slowness. Days seem to pass normally, yet compared to the twin on Earth, those days are stretched. Time inside the ship has dilated, expanded like elastic, while Earth's time continues at its usual pace. Imagine the earthbound twin sitting at a kitchen table, drinking tea, watching decades turn. They see winters fade into springs, see generations grow. Meanwhile, aboard the ship, the traveling twin counts fewer years. Perhaps they feel only a handful of birthdays, while their sibling on Earth counts many more. The mathematics of relativity predicts this precisely. Time dilation is not metaphor but measurement. At speeds near light, seconds stretch dramatically. If the traveler flies long enough and returns, they may find their sibling aged decades, while they themselves carry only a few years in their body. To meet again is to see the mirror shattered. Once identical twins, now separated by time itself. Pause here and breathe with the strangeness of it. Two lives begin together, diverge and reunite not at the same age. The bond remains, but the symmetry is broken. Time has been loyal to both, but in different measures. Neither twin has cheated, neither has been cheated. Both have lived fully. Yet their stories now run on uneven pages. You can feel the poetry in this tale. It is not only about physics, it is about what it means to wait, to move, to live alongside someone who takes a different path. Have you not felt in your own life the separation of time with others? A friend who moves far away and seems to return as if no years have passed while you feel older. A loved one who is gone for only a season. Yet when they return, the gap feels wide. Time, even in human experience, flows unevenly in relationships. The twin paradox is simply the cosmic form of a feeling you already know. Scientists have tested this, not with human twins, but with precise clocks. One clock flown on a fast-moving plane ticks more slowly than the one that stayed behind. Astronauts orbiting Earth, though only slightly, age less than those on the ground. These are not thought experiments anymore. They are part of lived reality, measured and confirmed. Technology depends on accounting for these shifts. Relativity is woven into the infrastructure of modern life. And yet, in the stillness of night, it remains a story. A story of siblings, one who waits and one who journeys. Imagine the moment of reunion. The traveler steps off the ship expecting to see the familiar face of their twin, but the face they meet is older, more lined, marked with years of experience. The waiting twin sees, instead, a sibling whose features have barely changed, still carrying the youth that they themselves have lost. There is love in this meeting, but also sorrow. a reminder that even bonds of birth cannot escape the weaving of time. You might wonder, is the traveler lucky, spared the weight of years? Or is the one who waits the fortunate one, having lived through seasons, memories, and the full unfolding of life on earth? There is no answer, only perspective. For the traveler, the journey was full, the time complete. For the one who waited, life was equally whole. Both truths exist side by side, even if the clock hands no longer align. This paradox invites reflection on your own journey. You too are both twin and traveler. At times you move quickly, racing through tasks, speeding toward goals. At other times you wait, still and patient, watching life unfold around you. Each mode bends your sense of time. Each reveals something about the elasticity of experience. In this way, the twin paradox is not far away in rockets and equations. It is here in your own breath and choices. Now imagine looking upward, beyond Earth, beyond the ship, to the fabric of the universe itself. Stars burn, galaxies spin, black holes wait in silence. Everywhere time bends differently. There is no single clock for the cosmos, no master rhythm. There are only local times, each loyal to its place, each honest to its motion. Your heartbeat, the clock on your wall, the orbit of a planet, the flicker of a star, all are true, and all disagree. The universe is a choir of clocks, each singing its own tempo. In this choir, the twin paradox becomes less strange. It is simply one voice drifting apart from another, each keeping its own rhythm, each part of the harmony. The traveler's slower song and the waiter's quicker one together create the music of relativity. When you listen this way, the paradox dissolves into beauty. Rest with that thought. Imagine yourself as one of the twins. Would you choose to travel, to move near light and return younger, carrying fewer years but seeing fewer days of Earth? Or would you choose to wait, to walk through the seasons, to carry the weight of years, but with the richness of their memory? Perhaps you sense that both are needed. The traveler to remind you that time is not fixed, the waiter to remind you that life is full only when lived. The story of the twins lingers in your mind. It whispers of separation and reunion, of difference and unity, of time's gentle but uneven touch. And as you rest with this story, another question begins to form. If time can stretch with speed, can it also bend with gravity? Can the very weight of mountains and oceans, the curve of Earth itself, shift the rhythm of your seconds? Clocks in the sky. You look upward where satellites float above Earth's curve. Their clocks tick at a different pace than the ones in your hand. GPS itself becomes a quiet proof of time's pliable nature. Technology whispers to you, relativity is not distant, but every day. Lift your gaze to the sky, not just to the stars, but closer, into the silent paths where satellites drift in their endless orbits. They circle above, invisible most of the time, yet their presence touches your daily life in ways you may never notice. Each one carries not only cameras, antennas, or instruments, but also clocks, precise, delicate, unceasing clocks. And these clocks tell a story about time that is as strange as it is necessary. Imagine holding your phone in your hand. You open a map, and within seconds it tells you where you are, on a street corner, by a river, near a shop. The blue dot glows with quiet confidence, but this little dot depends on satellites thousands of miles above circling the planet. They are your silent companions, guiding you not by sight but by time. Each satellite sends signals down to Earth. These signals are like whispers. I am here at this moment. Your phone listens to several at once and compares their timing. By measuring the differences, fractions of a second, it calculates your location. Without this choreography of clocks, the map would be useless. You would be lost. But here is where the wonder lies. Those satellite clocks do not tick at the same pace as the ones on the ground. High above Earth, where gravity is weaker, their seconds run faster. And because they move swiftly in orbit, their motion slows them slightly. Two effects of relativity, gravitational time dilation and motion time dilation, compete. Together, they cause satellite clocks to drift from Earth's by about 38 microseconds each day. Tiny, yes, but disastrous if ignored. Imagine you are trying to find a cafe in a city. If those microseconds were left uncorrected, your phone's location would drift by miles in less than a day. Streets would blur, directions would fail, and the blue dot would wander like a sleepwalker. The system works only because engineers carefully weave Einstein's equations into the software, constantly adjusting for relativity. Without his insights, GPS would collapse into confusion. Pause here and reflect. A theory born from daydreams of riding beams of light now rests quietly in your pocket, guiding you to the grocery store, to a friend's house, to a hidden trail in the woods. Relativity is not distant, not abstract. It is woven into the fabric of your morning commute, your evening walk, your everyday life. Imagine two clocks again. One rests on your nightstand, the other floats with a satellite above the clouds. Both are built with exquisite care, yet their rhythms diverge. Each believes it ticks steadily, faithfully. Neither feels any difference. And yet, side by side, they disagree. The clock in the sky runs slightly ahead, while yours lags gently behind. Time is not universal, but local, each clock bound to its own place in the cosmos. There is a quiet poetry in this. The Earth itself becomes a landscape of time zones, not only east to west, but up and down. Height changes tempo, altitude becomes rhythm, and satellites, circling high above, dance to a quicker beat than you who remain grounded. Think again of the twin paradox. The traveler in a spaceship returns younger than the twin who stayed behind. Now realize this paradox lives in miniature in your world. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station, orbiting Earth, experience a slightly different flow of time than those who remain below. The difference is small, fractions of a second, but real. Human lives in this way are already touched by relativity. Perhaps you feel the strangeness of it, that something so subtle, so hidden, could be essential to the ordinary. Perhaps it brings a sense of humility, that even as you walk familiar streets, your steps are guided by cosmic truths. Or perhaps it feels comforting, that the universe is consistent, reliable, so much so that your phone can rely on its laws without you ever having to think about it. Take a breath and look upward again. The satellites are invisible to your eye, but you can imagine them. Small bodies gliding in curved paths, ticking with steady light. Their clocks are the nervous system of the modern world. Ships navigate oceans by them. Farmers plant and harvest by them. Pilots, hikers, and explorers find their way through wilderness with them. The entire web of global connection hangs on these silent timekeepers in the sky. And yet they are vulnerable. Their accuracy depends on constant correction, constant attention to relativity's effects. Without the adjustment, the system unravels. This fragility reminds you how delicate truth can be. Invisible, easily overlooked, yet indispensable. The difference of a few microseconds, too small to feel, becomes the difference between being found and being lost. Consider also how this ties you to the cosmos. You are part of a planet that curves space-time, bending the flow of seconds. The satellites above are part of the same curve, yet they sit in a lighter grip, and so their time moves faster. Between you and them flows an invisible gradient of seconds, a slope of time. You live within this slope, carried by it, guided by it. It is easy to forget this, to live as if time were flat, uniform, unquestioned. The clocks on your wall, your phone, your wrist all reassure you of regularity. But the satellites whisper otherwise. They remind you that beneath the calm surface of your minutes lies a dynamic fabric, bending and stretching, alive with subtle differences. Now imagine standing on a hilltop at night. Above you, satellites glide, unseen but present. You hold your phone, the map glowing softly. You know now that what makes this map possible is not just technology, but the bending of time itself. The satellites tick faster, the Earth ticks slower. Your device reconciles them in an elegant dance. You are guided by relativity without ever noticing. Rest with that thought. Relativity is not confined to chalkboards or observatories. It lives in the fabric of your ordinary days. The universe, vast and mysterious, speaks softly into your pocket each time you check a map. Every blue dot is a reminder that you walk not only through space, but also through a river of shifting time. And as you let this awareness settle, a new curiosity emerges. If satellites can reveal time's bending in the quiet sky, what of the landscapes of Earth itself? What of mountains and oceans, where gravity changes with altitude, reshaping seconds in ways you cannot see? Mountains, oceans, and shifting seconds. You picture a clock resting by the sea, another high on a peak. Though they look identical, their seconds disagree. The weight of Earth and its silent embrace stretch and squeeze their rhythm. Every step you climb alters the tempo of your own seconds. Imagine standing at the edge of the sea. The horizon stretches wide, the air carries the salt of waves, and the clock in your hand ticks gently. Each second feels steady, familiar. Now take that same clock to the top of a mountain, high above the clouds. The sky darkens, the air thins, and the clock ticks just as faithfully. But when the two clocks are compared, they no longer agree. The one at sea lags slightly behind. The one on the peak has leapt ahead, marking more seconds, identical in design, yet not identical in truth. This difference is the quiet work of gravity. Earth's mass bends space-time, slowing time for those who stand deeper within its well. At sea level, you are closer to Earth's center of mass, pulled more strongly. The seconds there are stretched thin, just slightly longer. On the mountain, you are farther from the center, held more loosely, and so your seconds pass a little quicker. Both clocks are faithful, both are right, but gravity gives them separate rhythms. It is humbling to think that altitude, something you can climb in a day's hike, alters the flow of time, not metaphorically, but truly. Step by step, as you ascend, your body's clock drifts away from the one at the shore. Every breath taken higher up is measured in a tempo just a little faster. Over a lifetime, the difference may be only a fraction of a second, yet it is real, etched into the mathematics of relativity and confirmed by experiment. Scientists have measured this directly. Atomic clocks sensitive to the faintest tick have been carried from basements to rooftops. The results are clear. Even a change of a few meters shifts the rhythm of time. Place one clock on the ground floor and another a few stories higher, and after hours they drift apart. The higher clock ages faster, its seconds shorter, its tempo brisker. Imagine, in the span of a single building, time flows differently from floor to floor. You do not notice this in daily life. A conversation on a mountain feels no faster than one by the ocean. But physics whispers otherwise. You are not simply moving through space as you climb. You are changing your relationship with time itself. Mountains are not only landscapes of rock and snow. They are landscapes of seconds. Valleys hold slower moments, peaks carry quicker ones. The Earth, in this way, is a living map of shifting time. Picture yourself hiking. At the trailhead by a lake, your body's rhythms align with the water's stillness. Hours later, high above, you stand at a ridge. The view expands, and so too does your time. Invisible but present, your seconds now slip past just a little faster. You are breathing with a different clock, a higher tempo of the universe's song. There is a quiet poetry here, that the world you inhabit is not uniform but layered, its moments stratified like sedimentary rock. Oceans cradle slower seconds, mountain tops hold quicker ones. Between them lies a spectrum of time invisible to the eye but real to the cosmos. You are always walking within this gradient, carried by it, shaped by it. Think of how this mirrors human experience. Some days feel heavy, dragging like deep water, each second stretched. Other days feel light, as if time itself is hurrying along, carrying you swiftly from morning to night. Though feelings are not physics, the echo is uncanny. Time itself does stretch and squeeze depending on where you stand. The outer world and your inner world both remind you, time is not fixed. It breathes. This effect grows stronger near massive bodies. On Earth, the difference between sea and summit is tiny, but imagine standing on Jupiter, a world more than 300 times Earth's mass. There, gravity's pull is immense and seconds slow more noticeably. Now imagine descending toward a neutron star, a city-sized remnant with the weight of the sun. Near its surface, time would crawl, seconds drawn out, each heartbeat lagging behind the universe beyond. Clocks there would almost freeze, while distant stars raced forward. Even without leaving Earth, you can glimpse this truth. Consider the oceans themselves, their waters pressed downward, adding their own weight to the planet's pull. A clock beneath the surface would feel more gravity than one at the shore, and so its time would crawl slightly slower. Depth becomes tempo. The deeper you go, the more stretched the seconds. Divers, submarines, and the creatures of the deep all live in slightly slower streams of time. Pause and breathe with that thought. Your world is laced with invisible rivers of seconds. Each mountain, each valley, each trench in the sea reshapes the fabric of time. You cannot feel it, yet it holds you, as certain as the ground beneath your feet. Technology depends on these truths. Just as satellites must adjust their clocks for orbit, Earth-based systems sometimes account for altitude. Precision science, navigation, even experiments in quantum mechanics rely on understanding time's flow across different heights. The practical and the poetic meet here. Relativity is not distant, but embedded in every step you take. Now imagine the journey of a drop of rain. It falls from a mountain peak into a river, drifts to the ocean, sinks into the deep. With each change in altitude, it shifts into a new tempo of time, faster on the peak, slower in the depths. A single drop of water, carried not only through space, but through the shifting rhythms of gravity's embrace. You, too, are like this drop. Each place you travel alters your seconds, your relationship to time's flow. You may wonder, if mountains and oceans shape time, do we age differently depending on where we live? The answer is yes, though the difference is infinitesimal. A lifetime at sea level yields slightly fewer seconds than a lifetime at altitude. The climber lives a fraction of a second more than the sailor. It is a gentle reminder that aging is not uniform, but tied to the curvature of space-time itself. Even the span of a human life is etched with gravity's quiet handwriting. And yet there is no need to chase the faster seconds of mountain tops or the slower moments of valleys, for wherever you are, time feels whole. Your body, your mind, your days, all unfold in harmony with your place. You are never out of sync. The clock you carry within always agrees with the world around you. Relativity may divide seconds mathematically, but in experience you are always at home in your own flow of time. So rest in the thought that Earth itself is a mosaic of tempos, a silent symphony of mountains, oceans, and shifting seconds. You walk through it every day, unaware yet embraced by its rhythm. And as you settle into this realization, another question arises gently. If mountains and oceans shape time so subtly, what happens near the greatest curves of all? Black holes, where time nearly stops. The heartbeat of black holes. You approach the horizon of a black hole where time itself trembles. Every moment stretches into eternity, a slow-motion ballet of falling matter. Your mind imagines standing there, watching the universe drift away. Black holes become not only mysteries of gravity, but keepers of distorted time. Imagine a place where gravity grows so strong that light itself cannot escape. A place where space folds inward and time stretches to its breaking point. These are black holes, the silent hearts of collapsed stars, hidden in the fabric of the universe. They are not simply objects, but regions, boundaries drawn by gravity's overwhelming hand. To stand near one is to feel the deepest bending of space-time, a bending so extreme that seconds unravel into something unrecognizable. Close your eyes and picture it. A star much larger than our sun has burned through its fuel. Its light flickers, its outer layers collapse inward, and what remains falls beyond salvation. The core contracts, density rising without limit, until the star becomes a singularity, an invisible point of unimaginable gravity. Around it forms the event horizon, a boundary beyond which no message, no particle, no ray of light can return. From afar, the black hole looks like darkness itself, a void ringed by light twisted into strange arcs. Now imagine yourself drifting closer. At first, things feel ordinary. Stars shine in the distance, your watch ticks, your heart beats. But as you near the black hole, the fabric of time begins to stretch. The closer you move to the event horizon, the slower your seconds become compared to those of the universe outside. To you, your heartbeat feels unchanged, your breath steady. But to a distant observer, your movements slow, your voice lengthens, your fall becomes a languid drift. If you were to hover just outside the horizon, you would see the universe speed ahead. Galaxies swirl faster, stars are born and die, civilizations rise and fall. In minutes of your experience, eons would pass elsewhere. Time near a black hole is not broken, but it is profoundly uneven. It is stretched like taffy, elongated by gravity's crushing embrace. There is a haunting beauty in this. A black hole does not only consume matter, it consumes time. It turns moments into eternities. It divides observers into separate realities. For you, seconds remain seconds. For someone far away, you are frozen, paused at the brink forever. Both perspectives are true, each bound to its own position in the curved fabric of space-time. Astronomers have captured images of black holes, like the famous shadow of the giant at the center of the galaxy M87. The ring of fire surrounding its darkness is not fire at all, but light bent, twisted, delayed by gravity. Photons circle the hole like moths caught in an endless whirl. Each photon's path is time itself, distorted, stretched around an abyss. In those glowing arcs you can see relativity painted across the sky. Now imagine matter falling in, a star perhaps drawn too close. As it spirals, its light shifts, reddens, slows. To you, watching from a safe distance, the fall appears endless. The star never crosses the horizon in your view. Instead, it lingers, fading, stretched into infinity. Yet from the star's own perspective, the plunge is swift. It crosses the horizon in moments, carried into darkness without pause. Two truths again, each faithful, each irreconcilable. Such is the nature of black holes. They divide not only space but time itself. Think of your own body approaching such a place. At a certain point, the gradient of gravity across your length becomes violent. Your feet, closer to the hole, are pulled far more strongly than your head. Tides of gravity stretch you thin. Astronomers call this spaghettification. It is a grim word, but poetic too. Matter drawn into strands, elongated into threads of being. To approach a black hole is to feel the texture of space-time itself tugging at you. And yet, beyond the violence, there is also silence. Black holes do not roar. They whisper in gravity, invisible unless matter falls into them. Many drift quietly, unseen, their presence known only by their influence on nearby stars. They are the hidden heartbeats of galaxies, shaping cosmic structures without ever shining. Pause with this thought. The universe holds places where time itself is reshaped so drastically that your very concept of seconds dissolves. Near Earth, the effect of gravity on time is subtle, fractions of microseconds across mountains and oceans. But near a black hole, time is torn apart. Minutes become eternities, horizons become thresholds into mystery. Scientists believe that at the center of every large galaxy lies a supermassive black hole, millions or billions of times the sun's mass. Our own Milky Way holds one, Sagittarius, a star, around which the galaxy itself seems to swirl. In its shadow, time slows unimaginably. Each orbiting star nearby carries the imprint of stretched seconds, each photon bent into arcs we can see through telescopes. Even here, in the quiet spiral arms where Earth resides, you are tethered to the heartbeat of this hidden giant. Imagine now that you could rest just outside the event horizon, safe from falling. What would you see? The universe above you would race forward, stars would flicker faster, galaxies spin like dancers in a blur. If you lingered there for what felt like hours, whole millennia would pass outside. Time dilation near a black hole is not a gentle slope, but a cliff. Seconds diverge into infinities. And yet you would feel nothing unusual. Your heart would still beat, your watch still tick, your thoughts flow at their usual pace. To live near a black hole is to live inside a private tempo, cut off from the rhythm of the wider universe. This dissonance is not illusion. It is the nature of reality when gravity grows fierce. Let yourself imagine the ultimate journey, crossing the event horizon itself. From your perspective, nothing special marks the crossing. No line is drawn in space, no signal alerts you. You simply drift past, carried inward. But from the perspective of the outside world, you never cross. You are frozen at the edge, stretched and dimmed, your final image hovering forever. One self falls inward, another remains at the threshold. Reality divides. What lies beyond remains unknown. Equations point to singularities, places where density and curvature become infinite, where the laws of physics themselves unravel. Perhaps new physics waits there, beyond our reach. Perhaps time ceases to exist in any form we can imagine. Black holes remind you that the universe is not fully mapped, that mystery is not only possible, but essential. Breathe with this awareness. You are part of a cosmos where time can stretch, bend, and nearly break. You are connected to galaxies whose centers pulse with these dark hearts. You live in a universe where eternity and an instant may be one and the same, depending on where you stand. And as you hold this thought, let yourself rest in its paradox. Black holes are terrifying, yes, but also profoundly beautiful. They are places where the equations of Einstein find their sharpest edge, where imagination meets reality in extremes. They remind you that time is not fixed, that the universe is stranger and more fluid than your daily clocks suggest. Now a new question emerges softly. If black holes can slow time to near stillness, what of the tiny devices in your pocket, the clocks in satellites above, the tools of daily life? How can something so vast and violent connect to something so ordinary? The answer is waiting in the hidden synchronization between cosmic truths and the seconds you carry with you. Time in your pocket. You notice your phone, quietly syncing with satellites above. Hidden in its circuits, equations of relativity work tirelessly. Without this dance of time correction, the world's maps would fall apart. Your daily life reveals how cosmic truths live inside your pocket. Look down at your hand. A small rectangle of glass and metal rests there, your phone. It seems ordinary, a tool for messages, photos, calls, and directions. But hidden within it, beneath the screen and circuits, lies a connection to the deep fabric of the universe. Every time you use it to find your way, you are touching relativity itself. You are carrying time, corrected and recalibrated inside your pocket. Consider what happens when you open a map. A blue dot appears marking your place. It feels simple, instant. But to place that dot, your phone must listen to satellites orbiting far above. Each one sends signals precise in both location and time. Your phone listens to several at once, comparing their whispers. This is where I am at this exact moment. By calculating the difference, by measuring time itself, the phone discovers your position. Yet there is a secret. Without adjustments for relativity, the map would collapse into error. The satellites high above Earth feel weaker gravity, and so their clocks tick faster. But they also move swiftly in orbit, which slows them slightly. Both effects combine, leaving their seconds misaligned with the ones ticking on Earth. Left uncorrected, these tiny differences, mere millionths of a second, would quickly build into miles of error. Your blue dot would wander far from truth, leading you astray. So engineers quietly and carefully have woven Einstein's equations into every GPS device. Each signal is corrected, each calculation adjusted. Without the insight of relativity, the system would fail. And so, though you may not notice it, every time you check your map, you are depending on cosmic laws written into code. Pause here and breathe with this realization. A theory born from imagination, Einstein's dream of chasing light, now guides you to the grocery store, to a friend's house, to a hidden trail. It is astonishing. The same physics that bends galaxies now lives in the hum of your daily life. The vast and the ordinary are not separate. They are intertwined. Think of your phone again. Its circuits carry atomic-like rhythms, oscillators tuned to extreme precision. But they are not enough alone. They lean on satellites, which in turn lean on relativity. You are, in a sense, holding a small network of cosmic corrections in your hand. The universe itself is inside your pocket, recalibrated into directions and locations. This is not only about technology, it is about perspective. For centuries, humans believed time was absolute, ticking the same for all, everywhere. But here you are, with a device that proves otherwise, not in theory, but in practice. Time is flexible and your phone is evidence. Each journey you take, each path you follow, affirms this truth quietly, invisibly. There is a kind of comfort in this. You are not lost in chaos. You are guided by laws so deep that even the most ordinary tools depend on them. Your map is a thread connecting you to the stars, to satellites, to equations written a century ago. It is proof that the universe, though strange, is trustworthy. Imagine for a moment a world without these corrections. The blue dot would drift, wandering blocks away within minutes. Drivers would miss turns, planes would lose bearings, ships would drift from course. Entire networks of commerce and travel would falter. The fragile weave of modern life would fray. All because clocks high in the sky run at different tempos than clocks on Earth. But that is not your world. Your world works. You find the cafe, you arrive at the park, you follow a winding trail to its end. Each time, relativity is at work, steady and unseen. The strange dream of a boy imagining himself on a beam of light has become the quiet rhythm of your day. There is poetry in how hidden it is. You do not think of Einstein when you check directions. You do not imagine satellites when you see your location. And yet they are there, always working together. Time dilation, once an abstract thought, now hums in your pocket, guiding you gently. And so your phone becomes more than a device. It becomes a reminder. It shows you that the mysteries of the universe are not locked in distant stars or black holes alone. They live here, in the ordinary, in the familiar, in the unnoticed. Relativity is not far away. It is within reach every day. Let yourself rest with that thought. Science is not only discovery, it is companionship. The equations of relativity walk with you, quietly aligning your steps. The cosmos has bent its rules into your palm, making the extraordinary into the everyday. And as you breathe with this realization, another question arises gently. If time lives in your pocket, does it also live in you? Could your body itself carry clocks, rhythms, and cycles as faithful as any satellite? The answer lies waiting inside your very cells. The human clock within you, feel your circadian rhythm, your inner metronome of waking and sleep. This biological clock whispers in harmony with cosmic rhythms. Cells, hormones, and memory all drift in the tides of time. You begin to see the body as a universe of ticking stars. Close your eyes and listen, not to the ticking of a clock on the wall, but to the quiet rhythm within you. Long before humans built watches or measured seconds, your body was already keeping time. You are a constellation of inner clocks, each cell a tiny timekeeper, each organ playing its part in the symphony of your life. You may not see them, but they guide you. When you wake, when you eat, when you sleep, when you heal, this is the human clock within. Consider the circadian rhythm, your master clock. It hums quietly in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a small cluster of neurons deep in your brain. This rhythm is tuned to light and darkness, set by the rising and setting of the sun. Each morning, light enters your eyes and whispers to your brain, "It is time to wake." Each evening, darkness falls and signals, "It is time to rest." You may think of your schedule as personal, but it is cosmic. You live in harmony with the turning earth, spinning through day and night. This rhythm does more than tell you when to sleep. It governs your hormones, your metabolism, your alertness, even your mood. Cortisol rises with the morning, giving you energy. Melatonin flows at night, drawing you into rest. Your temperature rises and falls on schedule. Your digestion anticipates meals. Your body heals more quickly during sleep. All of this unfolds without your command. The inner clock is ancient, tuned over millions of years to the dance of light and dark. But the circadian rhythm is not the only clock. Within your body are ultradian rhythms, cycles shorter than a day. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your neurons fire in repeating waves. These rhythms shape your attention, your hunger, your bursts of energy and fatigue. Then there are infradian rhythms, cycles longer than a day, such as monthly patterns, seasonal shifts, the subtle changes of mood and body that follow the longer arcs of Earth's orbit. You are not ruled by a single tempo, but by layers of rhythms woven together. Imagine your body as an orchestra. The circadian rhythm is the conductor, keeping broad time, but each instrument, the liver, the heart, the skin, the brain, plays its own part, following its own sheet of music. When they align, you feel harmony, restful sleep, clear thought, steady energy. When they fall out of sync, you feel dissonance, fatigue, fog, imbalance. Jet lag, for instance, is the sound of your orchestra out of tune, your inner clocks lagging behind your new sunrise. Pause and think about memory. Even your sense of past and future depends on timing within the brain. Neurons fire in sequences, building patterns that allow you to remember and to anticipate. Your ability to hold a thought, to speak a sentence, to recognize a face, all of it depends on rhythms measured in milliseconds. Your brain is not a static machine, but a flowing river of timed pulses. Without them, thought itself would collapse into noise. Now breathe with the awareness that your lifespan itself is timed. Deep in your cells, telomeres shorten as DNA divides. They are biological clocks of a slower kind, measuring not minutes but years. They do not tick audibly, yet they set the span of life, reminding you that even the grand arc of aging is rhythmic. You are bound to cycles both fleeting and vast, from heartbeats to decades. There is comfort in this design. Your body is not adrift in chaos, but guided by reliable rhythms. Each morning the clock resets with light. Each night it restores itself with rest. Even when you ignore it, staying up late, skipping meals, living against its grain, the clock continues faithfully, waiting to be aligned again. It is patient, steady, a companion through the years. Think of how deeply this connects you to the cosmos. The same Earth that bends space-time also turns on its axis, giving you day and night. Your circadian rhythm is, in truth, a planetary rhythm written into your cells. When you wake with the dawn, you are participating in a cosmic pattern that began before humans ever existed. When you sleep beneath stars, you are surrendering to the same cycle that guides every creature, every leaf, every tide. Let yourself imagine the stars above as clocks too. Pulses spin, emitting beams like cosmic lighthouses, their rhythm so precise they rival atomic clocks. Galaxies rotate, seasons shift, planets orbit. The universe is a vast orchestra, and within you, the human clock plays in harmony with it. You are not separate from the cosmos, you are timed by it. But here is the mystery. Though your body runs on these rhythms, your mind often resists. You try to stretch days longer, to force more hours from each cycle. You stay awake when your body longs for rest. You eat at odd times. You flood your nights with artificial light. In doing so, you sometimes feel lost, fatigued, anxious. These are the effects of pulling against your inner metronome, yet always the clock within waits. When you align again, when you rise with the sun, rest in darkness, eat with regularity, you rediscover balance. There is wisdom here. Time is not only outside of you, measured by stars or satellites, it is inside you, guiding you gently. To live well is to listen to this inner clock, to honor its rhythm. You do not need perfection, only attention. A walk in sunlight, a meal on time, a quiet night's rest. Small acts that remind your body it is in tune with the world. As you breathe now, feel the ticking within you. Not mechanical, but alive. Your heart, your breath, your cells, all moving to rhythms older than you, older than humanity. You are part of a continuum of life, time by earth and sky. This awareness softens you, reminding you that you do not have to control every moment. You are already in harmony with something vast. And as you rest with this truth, a new thought emerges. If the human body carries its own clocks, flexible yet steady, then what of time itself? Is time, like your rhythms, capable of bending and flexing? Could the universe itself carry not a single rigid tempo but a gentle adaptability? The gentle flexibility of time. You reflect on how seconds can stretch in joy and contract in grief. Physics and feeling merge, reminding you that time is both outer and inner. Your life becomes a weave of personal and cosmic relativity. Here you rest in the truth. Time is not rigid, but alive. Sit quietly for a moment and recall a time when joy lifted you. Perhaps it was laughter with a friend, the glow of a sunset, or the stillness of being in love. Notice how quickly those moments passed. Hours seemed like minutes slipping away too soon. Now recall a different moment, waiting in worry, carrying sorrow, lying awake through a restless night. Those moments stretched unbearably long. Minutes dragged, seconds clung heavily. This is the gentle flexibility of time. It stretches and contracts, not only in physics but in your very experience of being alive. Science tells you that time is relative. Speed alters it. Gravity bends it. A clock on a mountain runs faster than a clock at sea. A clock in orbit ticks differently than one on the ground. These are measurable, proven, written into the equations of relativity. Yet your own heart tells you something similar. Emotions bend time. Memory reshapes it. A day of wonder feels timeless, while a day of grief feels endless. Both truths coexist, the outer and the inner, each bending the fabric of life in its own way. Consider your childhood. Summers felt eternal, school years stretched wide, each week a universe. Now, as an adult, seasons seem to vanish in an instant. Why? Neuroscience suggests that novelty slows time. As a child, everything was new. Each day carried discoveries. Each moment was saturated with detail. Your brain recorded more, and so the days felt longer. As an adult, routine smooths the edges. Fewer details are stored, and so time feels faster. The flexibility of time is not only cosmic, it is cognitive. Think also of memory. Traumatic events often feel frozen, stretched into slow motion. In danger, the brain encodes more information per second, making the moment appear longer in recall. Conversely, in boredom, the brain records so little that minutes seem heavy, dragging. Time is not just passing, it is being constructed within you, shaped by attention, emotion, and meaning. Pause and notice how this mirrors physics. Just as clocks disagree depending on where they are, your mind carries multiple times at once. The calendar may insist a year has passed, but your heart may feel it has been a lifetime or only a blink. You are living inside a personal relativity, one that flows alongside Einstein's cosmic relativity. Both are true, both shape your world. There is beauty in this realization. Time is not a rigid ruler, indifferent and cold. It is a living river, changing speed as it passes through places, through bodies, through feelings. You are not a passive passenger, you are part of the shaping. Your perception, your motion, your gravity all bend time in their own ways. The universe and the human mind meet in flexibility. Now breathe with this thought. You are not bound to a single tempo. Even within one life, time can be fast or slow, gentle or sharp. When you rush, days collapse into hours. When you pause, hours unfold into lifetimes. Meditation, art, music, love, all invite you to stretch the moment, to linger in time's expansiveness. Stress, distraction, fear, all compress it, stealing its richness. Time's elasticity is an invitation to notice, to slow, to inhabit fully. Imagine yourself sitting by a river. The water flows steadily, but your perception of it changes. Watch closely, and each ripple becomes distinct, endless. Look away in distraction and minutes vanish. The river has not altered, but your attention has. Time is like this river, steady beneath, flexible in experience. The gentle flexibility of time is both a scientific truth and a lived wisdom. Even cultures have reflected this. Some traditions see time as linear, an arrow pointing forward. Others see it as cyclical, turning in seasons, repeating patterns. Both perspectives hold pieces of truth. Time is linear in the unfolding of entropy, the arrow toward greater disorder. Yet it is cyclical in the rhythms of day and night, birth and death, renewal and decay. Flexibility is woven into its nature, not just in physics, but in philosophy. Think of music. A song has tempo, rhythm, structure. Yet musicians stretch notes, linger on pauses, quicken the beat. Time in music is flexible, shaped by feeling. Life is similar. You cannot control the river itself, but you can shape how you move with it. Sometimes rushing, sometimes lingering, sometimes surrendering to silence. The flexibility of time is also the flexibility of your heart. Now reflect on the role of presence. When you are fully here, immersed in a moment, time seems to open wide. A sunset lasts longer when you watch it deeply. A conversation feels timeless when you listen wholly. Presence expands time, absence contracts it. To live fully is not to control time, but to lean into its elasticity, to honor its gentle bends. There is another truth too. Flexibility does not mean chaos. Even as time stretches, it holds coherence. Einstein's equations ensure the universe remains lawful. Your circadian rhythms ensure your body remains steady. The flow may bend, but it does not break. Flexibility is not fragility, it is resilience. It allows life and cosmos alike to adapt, to weave together multiple rhythms without shattering. So let yourself rest in this. Time is not your enemy. It is not a relentless march that steals youth or rushes you forward. It is alive, bending to gravity, to speed, to perception. You live not in a rigid cage, but in a flexible dance. Each day carries both the outer relativity of the universe and the inner relativity of your heart. As you breathe slowly now, feel this duality. Your body is aging in the tempo of biology. Your mind is shaping years into stories, stretching some, condensing others, and above you stars bend light and time across the cosmos. Flexibility connects them all. You are both participant and witness, shaping and shaped part of time's fabric. And as you rest in this awareness, a new question arises gently. If time is flexible in feeling and in physics, what guides its direction? Why does it seem to flow forward and not back? What gives it the arrow that carries moments from past to future? The arrow of time and entropy. You notice how broken things do not unbreak, how smoke does not return to the flame. This one-way flow is the arrow of time, guided by entropy's steady rise. Order drifts into disorder, and the universe moves toward greater spread. In this direction, past and future reveal their difference. Sit quietly and notice the nature of memory. You remember yesterday, but not tomorrow. You can recall what has been, but you cannot yet recall what will be. Why is this? Physics tells us that many of its laws, equations of motion, of gravity, of electromagnetism, work the same forward and backward. A ball rolling uphill in reverse looks just as valid in mathematics as a ball rolling downhill. Yet life does not feel that way. You do not watch shattered glass leap back into wholeness. You do not see smoke gather itself back into a candle flame. Time for you has a direction, a one-way flow. This is the arrow of time. Where does this arrow come from? The answer rests in entropy, a measure of disorder. Imagine a tidy room, books aligned, desk cleared, bed made. Over time, without effort, disorder creeps in. Dust settles, papers scatter, objects drift out of place. Left alone, the room moves from order to disorder naturally. To return it to order requires work, energy, attention. The tendency toward disorder is written into the universe itself. This tendency is entropy, and its growth gives time its direction. Entropy is not chaos but spread. Heat moves from hot to cold, never the reverse unless energy is added. An ice cube melts into water, dispersing its coolness into the surrounding air. The water does not spontaneously freeze back into its cube. Coffee cools on the counter, warmth dispersing outward. These processes define the arrow of time. You recognize past and future because one holds less entropy, the other more. Consider the universe itself. In its earliest moments it was highly ordered, dense, smooth, compact. Since then entropy has grown. Stars form, burn, and scatter their light. Galaxies swirl, spreading matter and energy into wider spaces. The arrow of time points toward this increase, this diffusion, this spreading. The past is remembered as order, the future anticipated as greater disorder. This flow is irreversible, not because the equations forbid reversal, but because probability demands it. Disorder is simply more likely than order, and so the universe drifts that way. Pause and notice how this truth is mirrored in your life. You cannot return to childhood, though you may revisit memories. You cannot unspill what has spilled, though you may clean and reorder. Your days unfold forward, carried by entropy's quiet rise. Every breath exhales molecules into the air that will never arrange themselves back into your lungs. Every heartbeat spreads warmth into the world. Life itself is a dance within entropy's flow. Yet there is no need to see this as bleak. Entropy is not destruction, but transformation. From order into disorder emerges new possibility. A fallen tree decays, but in its decay nourishes soil, feeds insects, grows mushrooms. A star burns out, but in scattering its elements it seeds planets, oceans, and life. Entropy is not only loss, it is also the ground of change, the canvas on which new patterns are painted. Think again of memory. You remember the past not only because it has happened, but because entropy has increased since then. The traces of what was remain imprinted in the disorder left behind. Footprints in sand, fading but present, record the passage of time. Photographs, fossils, worn stones, all are records of entropy's rise. They are arrows pointing backward, evidence of the one-way flow. Consider your body as well. You grow, you age, you change. Cells divide, DNA shortens, systems wear. This is not a flaw, but a law. Life does not fight entropy. It negotiates with it. Each meal you eat is energy borrowed to hold back disorder for a while. Each breath is a small act of organization, drawing in oxygen to fuel order inside. But always, slowly, the balance tips. Entropy rises, time's arrow carries you forward. Still within this flow, beauty persists. For if time did not have a direction, experience would not exist. A life without entropy would be a still picture, a frozen tableau. It is only because things change, because disorder grows, that moments arise at all. Joy, love, memory, all are possible because time moves one way. The arrow that carries you also gives you story. Now imagine the far future of the universe. Stars will burn out, galaxies will drift apart, entropy will reach its maximum where energy is evenly spread. No gradients remain, no work can be done. This is called heat death, the quiet stillness where all processes end. It sounds solemn, but remember, you are not there. You are here in the midst of unfolding, where entropy rises, where stories are written. You live in the universe's active time, the vibrant middle, not its silent end. Think also of how life responds. Organisms create local order even as global entropy rises. A flower grows, arranging atoms into delicate form, but only by consuming energy from sunlight, releasing more disorder into its environment. A human learns, remembers, builds, creates, but always with energy borrowed and entropy increased elsewhere. This is not defeat, but participation. Life is the artistry of entropy, shaping temporary islands of order in a sea of disorder. Pause again and feel the resonance between physics and feeling. Just as entropy marks the forward flow of time in the universe, your memories mark the forward flow of time in your life. The arrow is not harsh, it is gentle, steady, reliable. You can trust it. You will not wake to find yesterday undone. You will not see smoke retreat to a flame. The arrow ensures continuity, makes life comprehensible. Without it, there would be no narrative, no meaning, only chaos. And yet, you may sometimes long for reversal. You may wish to step back into a lost moment, to relive a day of youth or love. This longing is natural, but entropy will not allow it. Still, you can revisit through memory, through story, through the heart's replay. These echoes are gifts, soft reminders carried by the arrow, treasures preserved in the growing disorder. Consider also how humans embrace entropy creatively. Music fades, but its fading gives it poignancy. A meal is eaten, but the memory of its taste lingers. A sunset ends, but the ending makes it precious. If moments were endless, they would lose meaning. It is their passing, their direction, that grants them weight. The arrow of time is not an enemy of beauty. It is the reason beauty exists. So rest with this truth. You live in a universe where time flows forward, where entropy rises, where moments end, and because they end, they shine. Your life is not a fixed crystal, but a flowing river, always moving, never repeating. This is the gift of the arrow. It carries you onward, into change, into growth, into newness. And as you reflect on this arrow, a new curiosity emerges. If entropy carries time forward, what lies at the farthest horizon? What happens to time itself when you follow it to the edge of forever, beyond stars and galaxies, into the vast unknown, the horizon of forever? You drift to the edge of time itself, where beginnings and endings blur. Galaxies fade, stars cool, and the universe opens into silence. Forever is not an ending, but a vast horizon without boundaries. Here you rest in the infinite flow, carried by time's gentle river. Imagine standing at the edge of all things. Behind you lies the story of the cosmos, stars born and burned, planets formed, life emerging, civilizations rising. Ahead of you stretches something without end, the horizon of forever. It is not a place you can reach with steps, nor a boundary marked by walls. It is the endless continuation of time itself, carrying onward beyond your sight, beyond imagination. Pause and breathe with this vision. Time has carried you through heartbeats and histories, through the bending of gravity and the stretching of motion, through the order of childhood and the dispersal of entropy. Now, as you look forward, you begin to sense that time is not only passage but horizon, an opening into vastness. Consider the stars. They have guided your nights, lit your imagination, and seeded your world with their elements. Yet even stars are not eternal. They shine for millions, sometimes billions of years, but their fuel is finite. Eventually they fade. Some swell into giants, shedding layers into space. Others collapse into white dwarfs, cooling embers of once brilliant suns. The brightest end in supernova, scattering heavy elements, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones across the galaxy. Stars live and die, yet their deaths are beginnings for something new. Even endings feed forever. Now think of galaxies. They spin and swirl, great congregations of billions of stars. But gravity will not hold them together forever. Over unimaginable spans, galaxies drift apart, pulled by the expansion of space itself. The night sky, now filled with lights, will someday grow emptier. Future eyes, if they exist, may see only darkness, the nearest galaxies long gone. The universe itself is stretching toward solitude. This expansion is guided by something still mysterious, dark energy, the quiet force pushing galaxies away from each other. Its presence ensures that forever will not collapse inward, but open outward endlessly. The universe does not fall back into itself. It drifts wider, gentler, into spaciousness without limit. Forever, then, is not a loop, but a horizon of expansion. Imagine time stretched to its farthest reaches, stars burned out, galaxies faded, black holes evaporated into faint whispers of radiation. What remains is not nothing, but a quiet sea of particles, a smoothness where all differences are dissolved. This is the heat death of the universe, the final evenness of entropy. It sounds like silence, and yet even silence is a kind of song. It is the resting note after the symphony, the horizon where all rhythms become one. But do not think of this as despair. Instead, think of it as rest. Just as your body finds peace in sleep, the universe too will one day find peace in balance. Forever is not a loss, but a stillness, and within that stillness lies possibility. For who can say what seeds may stir again, what new laws may unfold beyond what you can know? Forever is not only ending, it is mystery. Now return your thoughts closer. The horizon of forever is not only at the edge of galaxies, it is here in each moment you live. Every breath opens into the next without guarantee, without boundary. When you look ahead in your own life, you see a horizon too, not fully known, always receding as you walk. This is your personal forever, the openness of the future, the unfolding that awaits. The human heart has always reached for forever. Myths speak of eternal life, of endless cycles, of timeless heavens. Science speaks of entropy and expansion. Both point toward the same truth, that time feels larger than you, beyond you, carrying you into something vast. You cannot hold it, but you can rest in it. You are a wave in its river, moving always toward the horizon. Consider again your memories. They are small forevers, moments captured, never repeating, yet never fully gone. A laugh, a glance, a touch, preserved in you, even as you move forward. Memory itself is a horizon, a place where the past meets the present and continues to shape you. In this way, forever is not only distant, it is inside you, threaded into your story. Breathe slowly now. Imagine yourself standing on a shore at night. The ocean stretches into darkness, waves dissolving into the horizon. You cannot see its end, but you feel its vastness. This is what forever is like, not a wall but an ocean without boundaries. You stand at its edge every moment, gazing into the unknown, and time, like the tide, carries you gently forward. There is peace in this vision. You do not need to know what forever holds. You do not need to reach its end. It is enough to stand here, to feel the openness, to trust the flow. Time has carried stars into being, carried atoms into life, carried you into this moment. It will carry you still, into tomorrow, into horizons unseen. You are not separate from forever. You are within it, always. Think of how small you are and yet how vast. Your lifespan is a blink compared to galaxies, yet within you lives awareness, the ability to see, to wonder, to imagine forever. That wonder itself is part of the universe, just as much as stars and black holes. When you gaze into forever, the universe is gazing through you, reflecting on itself. Now rest in the thought that there is no final boundary. Time has no edge, no cliff. It opens endlessly, like the sky, like the sea, like your own imagination. Forever is not a destination, but a direction, a horizon you walk toward with each heartbeat. You do not need to hurry. You cannot be late. The horizon will always be there, waiting. And as you let this settle into you, notice how gentle it feels. The vastness of forever does not demand, it reassures. It tells you that you are carried, that your moments are part of something infinite. It invites you to soften, to trust, to rest. So now, at the close of this journey, breathe deeply and release. You have walked with clocks and mountains, with light and gravity, with twins and satellites, with black holes and entropy. Each chapter has been a step along the river of time. And here you arrive, not at an ending, but at an opening, the horizon of forever. The story does not conclude. It continues as time itself continues, and you, carried within it, continue too. Rest here in the gentle flow, knowing that forever is not something to reach, but something you are already inside. Resting in the flow. You have walked through time. You have listened to the ticking of your heart, to the slowing of clocks on mountains, to the stretching of seconds in the gravity of stars. You have imagined Einstein's daydreams, the twin who waits, the silent satellites above, and the quiet rivers of entropy guiding the arrow forward. Each chapter has been a step along a path, a journey not just through physics, but through feeling. Time has revealed itself as something both vast and intimate. It is written in the equations of relativity, yet also in your breath, your memory, your moments of joy and sorrow. It bends in the presence of black holes, but it also bends when you fall in love, or when you wait, or when you remember. What unites these truths is gentleness. Time is not a rigid cage, but a flowing river. It carries galaxies across billions of years and carries you across the span of a single life. Its arrow points forward, yet its flow is flexible, always shifting in rhythm, always alive. You are not apart from it, you are part of it. You are time made conscious, a fleeting awareness that can look both inward and outward, from the beating of cells to the horizon of forever. And so, as this journey settles to a close, rest in the comfort that you do not need to master time. You do not need to hold it, chase it, or fear it. It will carry you gently, as it carries stars, as it carries seas, as it carries every breath. Let this awareness soften you. You are already in harmony with the universe. You are already inside the flow. Each moment, whether stretched or fleeting, is part of the endless horizon. Now breathe deeply and let the story fade. Time continues its song. You are safe within it. You are carried forward always into the quiet unfolding of forever. Good night.